What's up, Guardians? This is Patty bringing you another solo GM commentary. This build that I'm running here is pretty similar to one that I've shown off in the past. In case you missed it, the whole idea kind of revolves around VS Velocity Baton being able to print orbs. I usually run it with Tanash's Mastery and rotating the heavy slot between Anarchy, Queenbreaker, Thunderlord, Microcosm, you know, just kind of whatever works. And I was trying that here at first, but because of the Meatball having such crazy health and the Threshers at play in here, that really wasn't a viable, going double special really wasn't viable. I just needed a primary that could hit like a truck. So at first I tried swapping to a full-on Lucky Pants build, but that wasn't really getting the job done anytime I needed to get aggressive and up close. So I opted for kind of a hybrid. So what I'm running here is able to do what I need to do up close. You'll see me show it off both against this barrier here and against the unstop in a second once those balls spawn. But the idea is, yeah, so we're printing orbs with Velocity Baton. We're running the artifact mod that grants a void overshield anytime you weaken something, which we're getting from our smoke bombs. So smoke bomb, it just makes smoke bombs a void overshield on demand. It's really good. Basically, once we get close, we're printing orbs, we're dropping smoke bombs, we're dropping grenades, we're getting transcendence really fast, and we're very safe. Most of the time, we'll have woven mail and void overshield at the same time.
That's a lot of blight.
So usually I run that with Tanash's chill clip, but as I said, this time we're going with Wishender. So with Wishender kind of allows me to play really safe. It allows this build to engage very safely from both a pretty long distance and up close. So I'm losing some health here. I'm kind of going after all these special bricks as I'm finding them just because of gold from lead. Like I said, this wasn't a very... I could definitely speed this up. This is by no means a speed run. This is my first time clearing the entire GM solo. But I'm just kind of, you'll kind of see throughout the run, I kind of try and play things pretty safe, pretty reliably. Trying to stay topped up on heavy ammo. Might have been a little bit overly safe with the heavy ammo conservation, but it got the job done. Definitely took me quite a few tries. I will say the Meatball was probably the bigger bottleneck as opposed to the actual final boss. I actually cleared this maybe the third time that I got to the final boss. It was just figuring out a reliable way to deal with the Meatball and make it to the Meatball and make it to the final boss pretty consistently that was kind of giving me some trouble. It was about a week of trial and error, maybe a few hours every day. Which kind of goes to show, like I'm still a pretty new solo GMer. Still new to solo GMs, so this is only my fourth clear ever. And I mean, I would say, like, yeah, if you haven't done one and you're interested, you feel like you're at that skill level where you can kind of get through a good portion of a GM by yourself, go for it. I mean, it's a very rewarding kind of experience. I would kind of compare it to a Dark Souls boss where it's gonna take a ton of trial and error, a ton of back and forth with any given GM. Like it's just gonna be a lot of repeating it over and over, because you can't practice the parts that you're bad at if they're later on in the run. You have to do everything from the beginning every single time you mess up, which is understandable why you know, not everybody wants to solo a GM, but I would say at this point, if I can do it, almost anybody can. There's a reason Bungie is adding a new level of Nightfall difficulty above GM, starting in what's Edge of Fate. So yeah, this is how I've been. I brought my machine gun can stun unstops, but I don't think I actually use a machine gun to stun and unstop. Maybe once in this run I do, but mostly I just kind of go in with a dusk field. I just kind of isolate the unstops and then just take them out with a dusk field and Wishender. Again, just saving ammo that way. Also, those Cabal that I was taking out with Wishender, I was doing that because I'm running heavy ammo finder, or at least I should have been. I can't remember if I was exactly in this, if I remember to put it on. Ideally, I have heavy ammo finder on because if you don't know, exotic primaries, they speed up the counter when you're running heavy ammo finder, so you just get more heavy ammo bricks when you're killing things with a exotic primary. So being pretty aggressive about my ammo economy. It's really not as important here with the ammo economy. It's more about making sure I go into the boss room and the Tormentor room with as much heavy ammo as possible. This whole corridor with like all the Scorpius turrets and all the Cabal, and then like the different Taken spawns that happen as you're going along. This kind of took me a while to figure out. I've seen people do this while moving the thing while escorting the payload, but I just found it to be safer to just take everything out first and then worry about the payload. So I'm just trying to isolate the unstop. Usually it follows me around this corner. This particular, oh yeah, there it goes. It's starting to follow there. So we can freeze it. Tossing a smoke bomb there does a few things. It shatters, thus stunning the unstop. It also weakens, and I was gonna say that it procs a bolt charge, but I think it just does that on its own once the shatter happens. These Scorpius turrets are really annoying here if you don't deal with them. I had a few deaths to accidentally spawning this Taken spawn, too soon or too late, or just at an unideal time when I wasn't expecting it. So really managing the spawns is pretty important, and knowing when spawns are happening. Anytime you see me do that, where I just shoot the velocity baton, it's so that I can pick up a special ammo brick and try to get gold from lead to proc. I was also trying a version of this build with... I was trying Tether at first, just because Tether is usually my go-to. And then I was trying Golden Gun, so Faceted Purpose would be giving Restoration, and that way I would have Woven Mail, Restoration, and Overshield all at the same time. But again, from trial and error, having a roaming super is just way too valuable in this GM at numerous points. It's really important during the Meatball. It's really important during the final boss room. It's just a lot more flexible than a one-off super. Kind of lets you get a little bit more precise with where you need to go and which enemies you need to kill. So going into the Meatball, I always want to make sure that I have Transcendence ready, but I can burn a super since I'm not supering onto the boss. I'm using my Silk Strike for the ad waves that spawn during the Meatball. So I don't really need it for the Meatball, so. And this is really annoying. I miss a Gladiator and he like creeps up behind me and it almost gets me. Making a special ammo brick, which we will need later. So yeah, this Meatball, this is a big part of why I brought Wishender. This thing just has a ton of health.
And fleshy with tentacles? Devrim hasn't seen a hornet recently.
Well, out it goes.
So again, I don't really need Transcendence for the ad waves, so I'm using them to help DPS the boss. The Dusk Fields I brought instead of any other grenade because none of my other abilities are giving me any Darkness Transcendence. I guess technically the clones are, but you know, it's not really. So I just kind of settled into this pattern of oh. Kind of settled into this pattern of Transcendence, using Velocity Baton, since I get a free reload anytime I toss a grenade. I'm kind of new to the. I know a lot of people have been really into the Ascension plus Threaded Spectre. Like using both of those aspects to get a clone in the air, and this was my first time really trying it, and I will say it's pretty helpful in this GM. It was getting boss aggro, it was getting the Meatballs aggro off of me, getting the Wizards aggro off of me. I can, if I use a Ascension in the middle of my super, it doesn't actually consume an Ascension, like once I'm out of my super. It lets me be aggressive the whole time that a Spectre is up, as opposed to Invis, where like as soon as you do an action, you're kind of out of Invis. The reason I did it this way in the first place was because I'm not running Tinashes, so I don't have that instant Invis on demand anytime I kill something with Chill Clip. And since that's a really big benefit of Tinashes plus the Invis aspect. So without Tinashes, I was just like, okay, am I getting enough value out of this aspect? Let me try something else, and it worked out pretty well. Because the class item I'm running is Inmost Light Surturachne, and the Inmost Light part of it is getting those Ascensions back very fast. Normally, Threaded Spectre, I mean, always Threaded Spectre kind of puts a cooldown penalty on your class ability. I think it's like 40%, so it makes it like 45 seconds or something crazy, like to get back a Gambler's Dodge at base. But with Inmost Light, like you've got empowered abilities always going off, and those certain specters are coming back pretty fast. another cool thing with the smoke bombs as well. So, like I said, they're giving us those void overshields, and additionally, they are always gonna. In case you didn't know this, with those smoke bombs, they have a really interesting interaction with Heart of Inmost Light, where the whole time that they are active, the whole time that they're, I guess, smoking, they are like restarting the timer on empowered abilities, and it's automatically putting it up to empowered abilities ×2. So it's so those smoke bombs are kind of doing a lot for this build. That last ad wave I got messed up on a couple times because one of the wizards, I think, is always a Bane, and I kind of I did get messed up a few times when like I would kill I would pop super on the non-Bane one and then not have a super for the Bane one, and if it was like a drain or something, I mean basically if it was a drain it would just really screw me over. So, making sure that I had super to specifically take down whichever one was a Bane was pretty important. And I could usually take out the non-Bane one just with my machine gun if I needed to. Ideally, I just get the whole ad spawn with the super, but that wasn't always possible, because they spawn so spread out, which is another reason why Tether or Golden Gun just wasn't gonna cut it. It was, you know, that was kind of the reason a roaming super was ideal here, and it will be ideal for the boss room as well. We'll see in a second. So that's Meatball. We're going into the next part with full ammo. Past the Meatball, on these runs it was usually pretty smooth cruising for a while after the Meatball. So I would always take out those ads with my super since I didn't really need it for a while. Bait the unstop, and then we can take it out with a Dusk Field plus Wishender. Building my light transcendence, so we're about to go to town on these ads in the barrier. I mean, just look at that. Like once this gets going, there's no stopping it. We've got Woven Mail and a Void Overshield at the same time. We've got Radiant. That barrier shield got popped because I was Radiant and I just hit it with Velocity Baton. Like I busted the shield with freaking Velocity Baton. That just kind of happens when you're Transcendent in this build. It can stun all 3 champions just without even particularly meaning to or aiming for it. Bridges, I played the bridge very, very safe here. There's a lot that can go wrong with the bridge. I had some deaths to those Threshers. The Threshers is another big reason I needed a hard-hitting primary, because, you know, I just didn't want to deal with them. I didn't want to do the skip or anything like that. So I just wanted to take out both Threshers before really trying to go in on the rest of the bridge. So Wishender lets us play very safe. I was trying this build with Final Warning, that Strand exotic sidearm. That thing hits so hard. It's almost like having a Lucky Pants hand cannon with 0 cooldown and, you know, not using your exotic armor slot. I really wanted to make that work, but that weapon requires you to get so up close to whatever you're shooting at. It just wasn't going to work for those threshers. I did take out the Meatball with that thing, and I have no doubt it would have been amazing in the boss room as well. But it was just completely bottlenecked at the threshers. I was trying to experiment to see if there was a position I could get to that was close enough to use Final Warning on the threshers, but I had like 2 or 3 deaths trying to figure it out, so I just abandoned that and switched to Wishender here. So again, we're just being very cautious. We don't want to get booped by one of those taken things. There's the second thresher. So I'm just trying to find a safe position to, you know, to chunk it down. It's not a speed run by any means. Just playing it very safe, just trying to get the clear. I also tried Outbreak Perfected, just as another hard-hitting primary, and I ended up feeling that it'd be better to have an actual, like, Outbreak was working, but it was relying on Radiant to be able to pop barrier shields. I ended up deciding it was better to have a dedicated barrier weapon. Plus, I'm pretty sure Wishender just hits harder than Outbreak anyway, like even with the Siva Nanites. I was taking out the Meatball. It felt faster taking out the Meatball with Wishender. Also, the Siva Nanites were not working on the Threshers, so it took way longer to kill the Threshers with Outbreak. Just taking this bridge one little baby section at a time. Not being overly aggressive with anything. Our whole ability loop with VS Velocity Baton, you know, it's very good here. It's very good, just maybe not here because it just requires getting in position. Very up close and personal. With all the stuff that can kill you out of nowhere on this bridge, I just didn't want to risk it. There I'm chunking down the unstop because I know I've got a lot of heavy ammo back there that I can go back for. I'm just trying to get a good angle on this Centurion. Yeah, I think start going in on the Wombo combo. And then I remember I've got a heavy brick way back in the last room, so you know, waste not. It's about 40 rounds. I really could have used my machine gun way more than I did in this run. Well, there is a reason that I was being this cautious with ammo, because there were several times I came out of the Tormentor room with like 200 rounds left, because the Tormentor does cause me to have to burn a lot of machine gun ammo. So I just really wanted to make sure I was going into Tormentor with full ammo, and actually this time I got plenty of ammo after the Tormentor. And you'll see it. I could have been more, you know, more free use, more liberal with the with the machine gun in the actual boss room. Alright. Again, we're gonna isolate the unstopped here. I could have run, I forget. I'm not good about remembering my aspect names today. I could have run. It's Winter Shroud. I could have run Winter Shroud with this build, and that will let you dodge while you're in your Silk Strike, and your dodges will apply. You have unlimited, dodges in Silk Strike, so you can just dodge twice, even when you're in Silk Strike, and just freeze and unstop, and then still be able to stun it and kill it while you're in your super. I just decided that the clone plus helicopter setup was too good. Going in with my combo. I had a death because I fell in that river at one point. That was really annoying, so I'm really trying to make that not happen here. I think I miss a couple stuns on this barrier, and it just takes a bit longer than it should. Okay. Here, I have just enough super left to take out this Incendior, and then chunk the boss just enough to get it to put its shield up, at which point I can, like, as soon as I come out of super, I get to stun it. That was just really good timing there. This was the only run that happened on. I'm going into Tormentor with full ammo. Look, I got a lucky little brick right there. Surprisingly, I did not die to the Tormentor once. I made it to Tormentor like maybe 4 or 5 times. I was always able to kill it and keep going. I thought that would be a bigger bottleneck, but it ended up working out. The clones really put in a lot of work in this room. It takes Tormentor aggro, and it takes those turrets, their aggro as well. I gotta say, after this run, I'm pretty clone pilled after this run. The way they just completely distract enemies, and you can keep going to town with your weapons. That's something you can't do with Invis. Here I'm trying to see if I can get one more heavy brick to drop. Just top off my heavy ammo. I was trying to see if the clone would take this Centurion's aggro, but no such luck. I think I had it positioned a little bit too much around the corner. And we're going into the boss room with basically full heavy. We're 2 rounds short of full, but... I had 1 death to this barrier. I did not respect the barrier. I got punished. Really trying to stay back and stay safe here. I do miss a stun on this guy, and he recovers some health. It's very annoying. Yeah, see. So it takes a bit longer than it should have. This was my first time killing the barrier before the boss spawned, so I wasn't sure the timing of like exactly when it would come out, so I popped Transcendence a little early. So I didn't quite get the full value out of this Transcendence pop. The first time I made it to the boss room, I was playing very safe. I just stayed the corner I'm about to go to in a second. I stayed in one particular corner. It's not a cheese spot. It's just like a little sanctuary, little area, like a little bit more cover. I just stayed there and just kind of DPS'd with Wishender. But that's the wrong way to approach it with the build. I just realized that it would be a lot better to just do the wombo combo and just keep hitting it with grenades and velocity baton. And that way I'm also building super fast, which is pretty important in this room. See, I should have just machine gunned that knight. No reason not to. This is the final boss. Look at all of them just going after the clone. This was the closest I came to dying in here. The correct move there would have been to use Velocity Baton on all those Scions, but I was just kind of panicking and just kept the machine gun out. Luckily, we made it through it. I'm trying to get the boss back in the center so I can keep doing a combo. And then I just go ahead and panic pop the Transcendence. There's the boss. I see that there's more knights that have spawned, so I just go ahead and go in with my super. I knew that we're done with champions at this point. I knew that one of those could be a Bane, and I was really hoping it would not. I was really hoping, anything but a Drain, and luckily that time it was not a Drain Bane. That could have really messed us up. I think we took it out fast enough that even if it had been a Drain, probably would have been okay. But either way, it was lucky that it was not one. See here, I could have machine gun. I should be using my machine gun on those knights, especially now that they're all distracted by the clone. some things that you notice, like once you're watching it back, that you sort of think of in the moment. Kill this knight. I actually don't even kill the other knight. I just, you know, it ends. I think I just leave that knight up. I'm just, you know, I have things in him. I'm just killing him down. I don't think that knight dies until it despawns at the end of it. Anyway, that's the run. I've got more planned. I'm trying for, what's that one called? Legend Psyops. It's the one where you have to throw those psionic spears at the aspects of Savathun. I know that describes several of them. Anyway, that's one of those is my next one. I'm going for solo Gilded Conqueror before the end of the episode. So, you know, like and subscribe would be nice. Look out for that, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.